It's Sid at Cool Movie Gram. Hope you're safe and well. A bit under the weather, but hey, I might as well do a review today of the Nova Media A Better Tomorrow Trilogy box set. Of course, the Korean company, and they'd actually been distributing quite a few Hong Kong titles. And yeah, I was looking forward to receiving this, and kind of glad that I did, because I love these movies, and I always thought that no Blu-ray collection or DVD collection is complete without these titles, especially if you're a fan of Hong Kong cinema the way that I am. And yeah, so where to begin? Okay, the plot for the first A Better Tomorrow. Pretty much everyone knows the plot. It's such a well-known movie thanks to how well it did, and also the exposure that it got within the Western market. Yes, and there's not much else to say. It was a very influential film. It changed more or less the action genre within Hong Kong cinema, and also kind of established names such as the director John Woo. Made Chow Yun-fat a huge star, who was just known as a TV actor at that time, a very popular one, but his movies were all box office failures, and he was dubbed as Box Office Poison. But yeah, but A Better Tomorrow is the film that kind of broke away from the typical martial arts action movies that were being made during the 80s at that time. And then of course A Better Tomorrow 2 is a sequel, which of course you can't reach the level or the actual the amazing kind of quality of, or just the sheer awesomeness of the first one, but it had some pretty good action sequences, some interesting scenes, and great performances from all the actors. And yeah, the end shootout is possibly one of the most insane scenes of just like bullets, blood, explosions, and just a high body count. It's just absolute John Woo carnage. Yeah, and then A Better Tomorrow 3, which was a prequel, and it's kind of set around the Vietnam War, where we see the character Mark from the original A Better Tomorrow, played by Chow Yun-fat again, who decides to help his cousin and his uncle, played by Tony Leung Ka-fai and Shi Kien, escape from, moved from Vietnam to Hong Kong. But of course, there's also involvement in the underworld, and also a kind of a love story in the third one, where he falls for a female gangster played by Anita Mui. Now, yeah, I mean, it was okay, but I think that film itself, it probably would have served better as a story separate from the whole A Better Tomorrow or the character Mark. It probably would have been a much better film that way as well, because it had a different feel from the first two. I mean, it was more of a slow burner. There are moments of action, but not quite as frequent or even as impactful as the two movies, which were directed by John Woo. Yeah, special features wise, there isn't really much. I mean, we've got Code of Bullets, which is like just documentaries in Cantonese that were actually explaining how weapons are being used and what type of weapons are being used in each of the movies. There's only Korean subtitles, none of the English. None of them have English subtitles in terms of the special features. And you got the bonus, newly edited trailers, which are there, and also the original theatrical trailers on each disc. And A Better Tomorrow 3 has some deleted scenes, which I could see why they were left on the cutting floor, because they don't really explain a lot or actually add to the plot of the actual film. So I could see why they were trimmed out and on the cutting floor. Yeah, I would say in terms of picture quality, they all look great. I'd say the weakest one is A Better Tomorrow 3 in terms of the picture quality. It was not quite as sharp, and some of the moments look like an upscale in comparison to 1 and 2. 1, of course, is it looks great, considering this one was actually remastered from a 4K print, which Fortune Star had actually released in 2016, and it does say 2016 at the bottom here as well. And yeah, and the second one still looks good. Not from a 4K restoration, but the film still looks really good. You know, it's a good transfer, and you know, the picture's not, the color's not washed out, and it actually looks really impressive. In terms of sound, well, the problem I have, especially with the first A Better Tomorrow, is that it's a 7.1 mix, a true HD Dolby audio, which is in Cantonese, and it's just that they've got new sound effects, and even some of the music has been updated. I mean, I've watched the original A Better Tomorrow countless times. I've watched it so many times that I know the difference. I think anyone could tell. I mean, the fact that they've messed up they added new gunshot sound effects, and it just kind of, to be honest, these new sound effects, they don't really add to the rhythm of and the actual pacing of the action sequences that initially when you first see them. That's what made John Woo movies stand out. It's just the action sequences had that rhythm in terms of the amount of times that the gun was shot and how it sounded. And although it's not as bad in A Better Tomorrow 2, I mean, the sound effects don't really affect it as bad as it did for the first one over here in this box set. And the third one, parts of it was new sound effects. A lot of it was still the original, but again, the sound mixing in the third one was not as good. I mean, if anyone from Nova Media actually is watching this, what you could always do is include the original soundtrack, be it the mono or the Dolby 2.0. Just don't have any updated sound effects or music. You don't really need that, and because these films they're a seminal piece of work, and they were fine when they were released. We just need an updated picture, just to kind of go with the HD format, which of course it was kind of achieved with the 4K restoration of A Better Tomorrow 1, which was of course supervised by John Woo himself. Yeah, I would say still it is worth buying this box set, because there's no other region-free release of this film on Blu-ray with the original, with the original language on Blu-ray, or even region-free. You know, there's no other region-free release of this with English subtitles as well. So, yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, it is a good, not exactly the best release, but definitely a much appreciated version. I mean, I am pretty glad I've got this in my collection now. I pretty much have, except for Bullet in the Head and Once a Thief, the John Woo and Chow Yun-fat collection is pretty much complete now. I've got those on DVD, but I haven't got them on Blu-ray yet. But I'm not too sure if I'm going to get Once a Thief on Blu-ray, because I don't think there's even a version available. Yeah, well, that was my review of the A Better Tomorrow Trilogy box set by Nova Media. You should be able to either purchase it off eBay or even on Nova Media's own website. Please don't forget to subscribe if you're new here, like my videos, comment, and also follow me on Instagram. Okay, it's just been a quick review of the A Better Tomorrow Trilogy by Nova Media on Blu-ray, and I'll see you on the next one.